It's episode 3, and we finally figured out the lip sync to voice sync. It's episode 4 if we count the draft.
Yeah.
Also, your mom is here, and I'm intimidated. I'm intimidated by.
Yeah.
Am I riffs funny enough?
Episode 4 is just gonna be me and her. Just replaced you.
This is Evaldas.
I wish I had one of those abusive showbiz dads.
Because then you could have been a successful person.
Yeah, if I had like a Tiger Woods or like Michael Jackson dad.
Mm.
And sure, they end up terrible people, but
yeah, but it's like
but they sung and golfed.
Yeah, they're famous.
Yeah, they're famous. That's
yeah,
what that matters.
I know. I always because my parents just gave me complete freedom when I was young. Like when I was 13, they would let me go to a music festival.
Yeah.
Without like just asking any questions, and I tell it to people, and they're always like, "Oh my God, your parents are the best." And it's like it's so much freedom, and I was like, "Well, freedom is really close to neglect." It's just one step away.
It's actually a more insipid form of neglect.
Yeah,
they don't care what you do.
Yeah, it's actually, I would rather be neglected in other forms than to just be like, because I could have left the house.
Yeah.
And just not tell them where I'm going at 14.
Yeah, I'd rather they forcibly imposed a skill on me.
Yeah, exactly. Like just go and learn to play the piano instead of sleeping. Because I would just sleep, would get drunk at 14 and sleep in forests, and my parents just wouldn't know about it.
Yeah, and then there's like a like a boy being forced to play piano like 9 hours a day, and everyone's like, "Oh, that poor kid." It's like, what? He has a skill.
Yeah.
What do I have?
Yeah. When I'm 20, would I rather know how to play a piano or how to sleep well drunk in a forest? Because it's one or the other.
I just have loads of experiences that I don't care about.
And my mom,
I don't value.
I was speaking with my mom not too long about this, and I was like, "Why did you do that?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Why did you give me so much freedom?" And she was like, "Well, like I've always trusted you. You can make a good choice."
Yeah.
I was like, "I was 13. What choice do you think I'm gonna make? Oh, I have all this freedom. You know what I'm gonna do? Study, do my homework. Sure.
Can't wait to secretly grow as a person."
Yeah. Now I can do whatever. I'm gonna read self-help books.
I'm going to get so good while they're doing standard stuff.
I'm 14 and I'm just high on shrooms and weed. And I'm like, how did this happen? I was supposed to be doing homework. My mom trusted me.
Mom, give me freedom. What have I done?
Where was my dad? My dad who just trusted my mom. My dad gave my mom freedom to give me freedom.
It's a real bad like hierarchy.
Yeah.
A system of power. Like, I trusted your mum trusted you.
And then I got to trust my own judgment, which is the worst.
You're all weak links in this chain.
You know, my dad, he used to beat me, but like not a lot.
Yeah.
It's just like sometimes.
Yeah.
It wasn't that harsh, but then he'd never beat my younger siblings. And I asked him also, I asked my parents, I was like,
yeah.
Why did you do that mistake? Like I confront them. And then my dad was like, well, I tried beating you and it didn't work. So I didn't beat your younger siblings. It's like, oh, well, I didn't know I'm part of the scientific experiment here.
Yeah. You're so bad the beating didn't work.
Yeah, you can look at it this way.
We tried hitting it. Nothing happened.
You still kept spitting on my face. We beat you and beat you and beat you.
We tried the one technique I knew. I mean, I guess this is vaguely a literary podcast. We're technically critics. I was on a bus and some people were doing the thing of like someone brought up a film and the guy was like, "Oh, the book's better," kind of thing. And this is
like someone had a conversation like this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this was the worst example of it I've ever had. Yeah, so this guy was like describing this film, and then and the guy was like, "Oh no, the book's way better." And then it turns out the film was Jaws, and he was like, "The book is."
How can
And I was like, "That's the worst version of that. How is the book better?" And he's like,
"No,
no.
The way they described the fin above the water. It's just that you should read it. Really, it's the soundtrack. You remember the in the book?
Yeah, da 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 da.
There used to be a footnote where it says da 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 da.
The words get bigger as he turns it. Da 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 da. But he was describing it. It's like, "Oh no, the book's incredible. It's from the point of view of the shark."
Did he actually say that?
Yeah, and I was like, "What? What's a book from the point of view of the shark?" She's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get him. I'm coming." It's like imagine like The Shining, but from the perspective of the house.
No, The Shining, and no, from the perspective of an axe.
It's just like, whoa, whoa.
He's hitting me into the wall.
Oh, what's on the other side of this door? This is crazy.
And then he said, "Here's Johnny."
And from behind me, I heard someone say, "Here's Johnny." I assumed it was the guy who'd been wielding me, but it's hard to be sure. I don't have eyes or a soul.
Was there so if it was from the perspective of the shark, the whole book must have been about something else, because
there's none of like the drama of like the mayor saying no, let them swim. There's none of the main character.
Because 90% of the movie, there's no shark in it.
Yeah.
So what is the other?
The whole like sense of anticipation is not seeing the shark. Whereas book, it's all shark. It's just constant
and then
shark.
I put my fin out and I went duh.
And they couldn't see me.
So I guess
they couldn't see me for ages. I'm just swimming.
Am
I going to hit him? I'm not. I'm going to get him later. Apparently.
So from the perspective of a movie, from the perspective of the shark, the movie, it's just the movie of someone who had lunch. There's nothing else in it. I don't get it. Okay, so it's not 90% of the book was just him growing up. I was born in the Ocean Pacific.
Always moving forward. Come on.
That's a motivational shark.
I think that the book is just like he scares someone once, and then 4 weeks later someone blows him up with a bomb. And he has no idea why. He's just swimming and someone throws a bomb.
Shark. She's like, I'm a shark.
Yeah, apparently Alfred Hitchcock. Have you seen The Birds?
The Birds?
Yeah,
no.
The film The Birds. So it's like 60s, whatever. He wrote, it's a film about just like a woman that gets attacked by birds. And like she's really scared of birds and stuff.
Oh my God, I've seen that movie when I was a child.
Yeah.
Was it Crows?
Yeah, I think it's mostly Crows, yeah.
That fucking movie. What? It's Hitchcock?
Have you read the book? It's from the perspective
of it's from the perspective of 40 crows. Crow 1. Crow 2. No, that's
just different. They all have different chapters. It's just loads of different narrative of the crows.
I swear that movie, I was so afraid of crows. I couldn't go outside when I was a young child.
All that freedom you had.
Well, I had all that freedom and I couldn't use it because there's crows. My mom was like, "Oh, go drink. Go to the."
Yeah.
My mom was like, "Go to a festival," and I'm like, "I can't. There's crows in the festival." Like I'm not old enough to not be afraid of crows, but old enough to go to a festival in my mom's eyes.
That tender age where you're old enough to like do drugs, but you're still scared of crows. There's more crow stuff. There's a poet called Ted Hughes. Do you know Ted Hughes?
No.
His wife was Sylvia Plath.
Sylvia Plath.
Plath.
Plath. No.
Yeah. So she's also a poet. She wrote a book called The Bell Jar. But so Ted Hughes is like an English poet, and he's married to 2 women who both killed themselves. It's great. Like, if that happened to a celebrity now, everyone would be like, "What is this guy doing?"
Yeah, but
in the 60s, you're just like, women are crazy. well, this poor dude just marrying women and just killing themselves.
Yeah, the same as in Eastern European. There's no, like in Eastern Europe, when old men speak, there's no mental illnesses. It's just women.
Yeah.
It's just like women. Yeah, she hears voices.
Yeah.
Women.
So he killed himself. Oh, I was a lady.
Yeah, it's a lady. No, he was a guy. What a feminine guy.
And so after Sylvia Plath killed herself, he wrote so everyone was kind of like waiting for what he was going to do. Mm-hmm.
There's so much
magical.
No one should wait. I hope he came up with something good, or her death means nothing. There's too much pressure.
And he wrote a collection of poetry called The Crow, and it's all just like 15 poems about a crow. Yeah, it's like your wife's just killed herself.
He's like,
and he's just like, guys, crows are nuts. Instead of writing about like loss, he just had like a mental breakdown. It was like, he just, oh god, look at the crows.
The crows took my wife. It's the crows.
Why does no one blame the crows?
My wife saw Hitchcock's movie and then it just went downhill.
Yeah, so eventually on the podcast, we're both going to be wearing white suits.
Yeah, and then we offer because we were like, oh, when you do clips, there's gonna be nothing that's gonna stop people more from swiping away than having a white suit on.
What's it like Tom Wolfe, white suit and a pink background? And I bought this.
And
I think we both bought these, or like versions of.
This and the pants were like £17.
Yeah, I think it was 16.
And it feels
£16.50.
Because if you touch it, it feels just from the touch, you can set it on fire.
Yeah, and I think it's like these came from either like Vietnam or China, and this is a double XL. So like if someone like of this size in Vietnam, you saw them, you're like, that guy's a monster.
Yeah, there's
like this tiny man.
Yeah, they tried it. They tried this on the biggest guy in the children factory.
It was like the Goliath. Vietnam's Goliath.
There's one boy who's like 15 but had a growth sprout.
He's like 5'11". It's like, monster.
3XL.
Giant. Freak.
Don't jump because you're going to break the net.
You must try our clothes that we sent to Europe. Bring out the freak. We have a normal sized jumper to try. He is their basketball team. It's just like one player.
He is the basketball team and the opposing basketball team.
It's him and like 5 guys that all just do assists. They've got like no points, no rebounds. It's just like 50 assists. They'll just like chucking it. Get into the 5'11" kid. This is double XL. And I think we will have to buy new ones. And yeah, and I think it is like legitimately made of paper.
But do you think we should be at all like concerned that this is clearly like the product of child labor?
Because when I imagine child labor, I just imagine the whole factory is children.
Oh,
so there's like a 12-year-old CEO,
and it's ran by like all 13-year-olds.
Yeah, and they're just
the HR. If someone goes to HR, it's like, should we not hire children anymore? I'm a child. I'm HR and I'm a child.
I think this is the suit that like the Buddhist monk wore when he set himself on fire.
Yeah, like and it was an accident.
Yeah,
he did it on accident. He didn't mean to, but then as he did it, he was like, "Well, I better act cool now."
Commit. And they're like, "What's it for?" And it's like, Vietnam. Stop the war. It's so funny to have like that and Mensa protest in it. Because it's like, remember like, like Nazanin Zaghari Ratcliffe?
I didn't understand a single word you just said.
There was she's an Iranian woman. I think it's Nazanin Zaghari Ratcliffe or something. And she was like, she was on house arrest or something, or she was in prison in Iran.
That's the same.
For like trying to like topple the regime or something. And her husband... just for trying to topple the regime.
That's such a cool crime.
Yeah.
It's like, why go in? It's like, I stole a TV. Yeah. I tried to topple the regime of a country, and I succeeded enough to be put in here.
And it's like, well, it was a big TV, man. So I was just trying to get a cool TV.
I use that TV to smash a president's face.
And like, so her husband was living in the UK, and he was trying to get the British government to like get her back. So he did like a hunger strike, or he did like a series of hunger strikes, and one of them was like 21 days, like outside Westminster on a hunger strike, and it just didn't help. So now he's just like hungry, and his wife isn't here.
No, he lost weight. He's not even hot to his wife anymore. He's like, I don't want to come back. He's looking all skinny.
This grey skeletal man.
Yeah, he started losing his hair because of lack of nutrition.
So, it's great if your husband has a hunger strike for you to come back, and then you come back and divorce him.
Or he was like, or he was just a fat guy and he wanted to go on a diet and needed a good motivation.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what? I'm gonna go on TV and I say that I'm doing this to get my wife out of prison. And then he's still like caught eating at McDonald's. Imagine breaking that diet.
What's that? Well, that's just who Joe Wicks is.
Who's that?
He was like a personal trainer that went kind of viral during lockdown.
Oh, well, I mean, everybody went viral during lockdown. There was no other way to live.
Be great. Like every personal trainer is just someone whose wife is in prison in another country. They were just on hunger strikes to try and get in there. but then it works, so they just transition it into.
Yeah, you're on a hunger strike, and then they catch you like at McDonald's. It's like, yeah, it's my cheat day. It's just It's a Sunday.
It's like, guys, I'm weightlifting. I'm weightlifting to get my wife back.
Yeah, you start with just signs outside the parliament, and in 2 weeks there's fucking bench press.
I'm doing bicep curls until my wife is home.
Yeah, there's people you're teaching a class about just nutrition and stuff.
Just a guy on a spin bike.
There's lots of just a bunch of fat people. It's like, what's your secret? My wife's in prison in Iran.
I'm spinning until my husband is released.
Spin for the freedom.
I will not stop toning my legs until my husband is safe.
I will not stop toning my legs.
Just a really sexy bike class.
You either release my husband, or my calves will cover the whole screen in this camera.
I'm spinning for the war in Iraq. All our husbands are dead.
Well, my girlfriend does spinning classes, and like she tells me stories from what they say at spinning classes.
Yeah,
and it's just so funny because they're all like super motivated for some reason. And she went there yesterday, and she said the woman said, "Spin like you're glad to be alive." It's like, also like, what kind of spin is that?
Yeah, it's like a metaphysical spin. Like, how am I going to do this?
You're spinning and you're just full of love for your mum.
It's that black church spinning. I'm gonna have to take this off.
I was about to say that you put this on and the riffs started coming.
Yeah, these are the secrets of the riffs.
This is the secret of the riffs.
Okay, but actually I'm going to go to the toilet.
Well, yeah, break the rhythm. As we're fucking getting into it, break it. Don't say anything funny without the mic. If you're leaving and you're gonna say something funny, leave with the mic in your hands.
I'll put this back.
Man, you need to pee. Well, you drank like a liter. That's why you're going. You cannot not pee for an hour and a half. You have UTI. At least the wall behind you is not white. I think I might disappear.
Well, that's what we got. The carpets. Yeah, because currently this just looks like. Have you seen like A Beautiful Mind?
Yeah, of course, great movie.
Yeah, but this just looks like
relatable.
Like retarded A Beautiful Mind.
Retarded and beautiful mind.
Just someone who's really bad at maths. So I've done the equation. It's just like a mushroom, a door, and like a hinge.
Just a retarded guy you're connecting, and seemingly like a bee connects to a flower.
Guys, I've done Fermat's last theorem. Just a door and a mushroom. It's like, is this it? And they're like, oh god, oh no.
Connects to his favorite ironing board. Just things that have no connection to each other.
So the scene in a social network where he's writing Facebook on the window. And guys, I've designed a new website for seeing people in other colleges. And it's just this.
Oh my god, it's so bad. It's so mean. It's a schizophrenic retarded guy. That's the meanest thing in the world. It's like, stab your mum with a spoon. Like he doesn't know that you stab with knives. Stab your mum with a comb. That's so.
There's nothing A Beautiful Mind is he's trying to like beat the Russians. So it's like, guys, I figured out how to destroy. It's just a hippo on a wing.
Like, is this against the Russians? Yeah. Who are Russians? This is against Billy. I hate him.
You mean the garden gnomes?
Yeah.
They're my greatest enemies. I love that. That's what. It's so funny watching like Hollywood, like write geniuses, because it's difficult to write a genius when no one's like smart. Yeah. So their idea of what a genius is someone who just writes on windows.
Yeah, that's what. But to be fair, I think I mentioned this before, but I have a friend who is schizophrenic.
Yeah,
and he writes on Windows. He gets high and does math equations on Windows.
That's great.
And he's very smart. He did an IQ test and things like 150 something.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually so funny how he got diagnosed, because he's not he's schizophrenic. It's like not exactly schizotypic or something.
Yeah.
So it's close.
Yeah.
And then basically in Lithuania there's a draft. You have to go to the.
I thought we just meant like a draft in like a room.
The whole of Lithuania has a draft.
Bit of wind.
It spreads schizophrenia. That's the story. That's the whole story. Schizophrenic Lithuanian draft.
It's like your Chernobyl.
Yeah, but
Like the Russians dropped a bomb and it just like slowly spread schizophrenia across the whole country.
it just boosts your IQ to 150 and gives you schizophrenia.
You've all got like 3 ears, but you...
And also, we all write on Windows. The whole country. Oh my god! But so
every lesson is just like kids in desks hovering over windows.
yeah, even the teacher, there's no board. It's just windows.
You can see all the other staff. They will just write you.
So basically, I've been playing video games, and yeah, my girlfriend also doesn't really get it.
Yeah.
But sometimes I don't get it.
Yeah.
Like I was playing this game, and it's like I'm running my own like sushi restaurant.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And
I remember watching my friend play. It was like simulator truck stop.
yeah, I love that game. Yeah.
Or, no, there was like simulator car wash.
Oh, simulator car wash. I thought you mean that Euro Truck Simulator. You know, my dad is driving a truck, and then sometimes he goes home and he plays Euro Truck Simulator. he was like, this is. But I think this really portrays my point that I was playing the sushi thing, the restaurant, right?
Yeah.
And in the game, I'm doing dishes, and at one point I realized that I'm surrounded by dirty dishes. It's just like, why am I? And it's not like in the game it takes fast. I think in the game, like the washing of the dish,
It's real time.
it's real time.
Yeah.
It's real time. And there's like, and my girlfriend, she was like, "Oh, can you get some groceries?" And I was like, "I cannot. I'm collecting blueberries."
I just bought 4 kilos of fish from the market.
Yeah, exactly.
I
And
went to go to Sainsbury's. I just
like
just spent 10,000 yen on the best on the best tuna.
And then obviously like there's, and when you think about it, I just do it for the little plum
Yeah.
that I get after I finish.
Yeah.
I'm just a dog. It's like plum, because I feel like in real life,
You just need your girlfriend to stand in the kitchen making that sound every time you clean a dish.
Yes.
To go, boom. You're like, yes.
every time I do like a house chore and then or anything that is boring to do, I need my girlfriend to just, I don't know, give me like 10p and be plum. And that's it.
She
that's
just
all
does
I
like a
need.
cartoon like jump up and she's like, boom. You're like, oh, yeah.
And then give me like a pair of new pants because
Yeah.
in the game it's like the best thing is when you have enough money for like to change the way you look.
Yeah.
So if my girlfriend is like every few days of me doing dishes, she just brought me a new pair of jeans and then just did plum.
Because I remember when I was on, I think I was, I don't know, just like a weird child, just like on holiday in Italy with my family. We were by a pool, and they were just kind of reading like nice, like summary, whatever like a blockbuster book is, like summer reads,
Jaws.
beach reads, Jaws the book.
The true blockbuster.
And I was just reading Alexander Solzhenitsyn's The Gulag Archipelago.
You're 12 or you're already judging your parents for being stupid. It's like, what kind of, you're that boy at school who just like secretly is like, I'm the smartest guy here.
I still think that, because I'm sure I didn't like understand any of it, but it's just like depressing being like because I was like 12 or 13 on like just a really nice day in Italy by a pool, and I'm just reading about the history of like gulags.
Were you interested in it? Why do you think did you read it? Were you interested in it? Did you know that it's or did you want to appear special to people who saw you read it, or it was genuine?
No, I think I was really obsessed with Russia. Because
As 13-year-old boys are.
Yeah.
I was being busy. I was being busy jerking off to what's that girl in Pokemon?
Misty.
Yeah, I was being busy jerking off to Misty.
Yeah.
And you were reading about gulags.
It's like a Russian tourist Andrew Tate. It's like, boys, brothers, remember that first time you see the motherland?
Yeah, Eastern Europe has it all figured out when it comes to women. I'm 12.
That joy you feel in your heart when you first see, when you're on the Trans-Siberian Railway and you go past Lake Baikal.
Well, why were you so obsessed with Russia? What is it? Because you said that you lost chess to a Russian boy. Well, you're like, I need to understand where he's coming from.
Who is this magician?
Why? How did he become the way he was?
I need to understand your ways.
And then you went to your chess class, and then they were like, "You need to learn openings," and you were like, "No, I need to be in the gulag.
I need to have the pressures."
I need to come from a long
1970s Russian.
I need to come from a long line of fetal alcohol syndrome. That's the only way I can progress in chess.
I need to be a formaldehyde baby. Okay, do you want to talk about the story?
Yes. So today's story is by Chekov.
Chekov.
The
Anton
Chekov
Chekov.
of Russia.
The Chekov of Russia.
And it's called The Lady and the Dog.
Yeah, we'll put it in the description. You can read it. It is
great.
It's great.
It changed me. I read it. I swear it changed me. It changed the way I look at my comedy.
I cheated on my girlfriend immediately.
It is about adultery.
I went to a seaside resort and had an affair.
I was convinced to be immoral by this. It's a story about cheating, and let's.
It's such a bad justification for cheating.
It's not even about
Baby,
cheating.
I read Chekhov.
And she's like, I don't get it. It doesn't matter that you read it. And she reads it, and she's like, do it.
I understand.
Go do it. I get it now.
You're finally in love. You finally found love.
Well, we should probably first discuss Chekhov.
Anton Chekov. So he was a 19th century Russian writer, although I think he died in like 1906. No, like 1911.
He died when he was 46 from tuberculosis, I think.
Yeah, so he died really young.
As his brother died from tuberculosis.
Interesting.
I think.
And he was a doctor, so he should have known.
Funny thing about him being a doctor is that he said to himself that medicine is my wife and short stories is my mistress, right?
Yeah.
And he said it because he was failing at medicine and couldn't make ends meet.
Yeah.
So he had to write short stories
to make money.
To make money. Can you imagine if you were trying to make as a doctor and then you had to do comedy to support yourself? And your parents were like, just do comedy. The money's in comedy, but my heart is in medicine. How talented must you be?
You wake up from a coma where your doctor's just like, just writing a masterpiece by your bedside. Like, sorry, I've just got to knock these out. I've got to do 12 of these by the end of the week, man.
He leaves a pen in you because then you get to come back and give him more money, so he has to take it out.
So yeah, sorry, these are just some of the greatest short stories ever written, but I really can't wait to take your appendix out afterwards.
The Lady with a Dog is one of the most famous stories.
Yeah,
that he wrote, and so it starts with that there is a new person in town.
Yeah,
that nobody knows.
Yeah, they're in the seaside town of Yalta,
which it actually immediately proves to me that this is happening in Eastern Europe, because only in Eastern Europe you know when there's a new person in town.
Yeah.
Because when I grew up in a small village of like 188 people.
Yeah.
Like if there was a new person in town, I'd know immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah. If someone bought weird shoes, everybody knows. And also, I feel like people in big cities, there's so many people that they lose magic. Like a person just loses.
Yeah.
Its magic, because in small villages, it's like every person is like, I want to know him.
Yeah.
I want to know that person. But in here, there's so many, just like individuality.
Yeah.
It's kind of like pigeons. Because like I liked pigeons before I moved to a big city, and they're everywhere. Because pigeon is not an ugly bird.
Yeah, it's mostly like London, like dirt.
Yeah, but I feel like eagles are beautiful. But like if you sat down to eat a kebab and 30 eagles showed up. You'd be like, fucking fuck eagles.
Just like a homeless man in the park feeding eagles. And gets out and they're like, oh!
You guys just 7 eagles on his arms.
He's just wearing like bin bags.
And you cannot give eagles, you must feed eagles with rats. So he just has a bag of rats. Just feeding
just throwing crickets into the air. Like, caw, caw. He just sends them after a boy. Kill that boy.
Because eagles, you can train them to like hunt lamb and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just almost, this person just gets food because eagle brings him.
It's like, again, this is going to be a good. We put up here the film Kes.
We'll reference Hitt.
But instead of a small boy training a hawk, it's like a homeless man in a park with like 40 eagles on him. And he's just like sending each one off individually. It's like the Wicked Witch of the West sending monkeys to get.
And the eagles come back, but they're like, there's no animals to hunt, so they just bring him like empty bottles.
They're just carrying women with red shoes, like Dorothy.
They trade eagles.
Get me the scarecrow.
They trade eagles to get on tubes and ask for money. Just an eagle flies through the tube, carrying a little bag and a sign like I used to be in war.
Sorry to disturb you tonight, everyone. I was in
I'm an eagle.
Yeah. I was in the 7th Battalion in Iraq. I did 3 tours from 2003 to 2007.
Yeah. Really, anything would help. Food, rats.
2 eagles pass each other on the tube. Oh, sorry, man.
No, they know each other, and or like eagles come in and they're on crack.
It's probably like, pass each other in the tube. Like,
And only
glitchy eagles on crack.
You hear
They open the tube doors.
You hear the
whiz
door
through the windows.
You hear the door go boom. You turn your head. It's an eagle. Oh God.
So hey guys, if I could just have like whatever rats you have, whatever, just any small rats.
And some guy like stakes out like a dead fox.
Yeah, so I'm
like, don't give him anything. Don't give him. That's why they're here.
Don't give him So I've got a vole. Will that do? I'll take voles. Whatever small animals you have, mice, voles, weasels.
It's like I said, it's just like a cucumber. It's like, ugh. I don't eat fucking this shit.
It's like a woman has a pet ferret and it just goes for it.
An eagle's flying through a tube and takes someone's Pomeranian. Just flies off.
2 eagles fighting over a Pomeranian.
I love how in this riff, it went from homeless people who are training eagles to eagles who are homeless people.
Homeless eagles.
It's a parallel universe where homeless people are eagles and eagles are homeless people. You just drive through the countryside and it's like, look on the cliff. Just a homeless guy.
They're all bald eagles. There's like an old couple on the tube. So maybe if he'd worked harder, he'd have hair. He didn't have to be a bald eagle.
Yeah, on the American flag, there's a homeless guy.
Just a homeless guy with 50 bald eagles on him.
You're in the car and you're like on a family trip, and the dad and the friend's like, look, and you look outside. There's a homeless guy running, carrying just a fox.
It's like an eagle washing your like front window, coming out to you in traffic and just washing your. Sorry guys, if you have any trash, that'd be really.
Oh my God! Or
really
eagle just doing
appreciate
some horrible music, just on percussions. Oh my God! Okay, let's go to the. So there's a new person in town.
There's a new person in town.
And she has a Pomeranian, actually.
Anna Sagayevna.
Something.
Yeah.
And she's walking a dog. What do you think the dog represents in this story?
So you know the idea of Chekhov's gun.
Chekhov's gun.
Heard of that?
No.
So it's like a kind of.
So he had a gun and he shot his wife.
Yeah. It's more. I think it was more like to do with his plays, but it was came into other short stories as well. So it's just like.
Yes, continue. I know what you.
Okay,
I read it, but you continue. It's a good one.
Yeah, so it's just like the literary idea. Like if you introduce a gun in the first scene, it has to go off in the third scene.
When I was reading the story,
act.
I was thinking about this, and I was like, "Well, so yeah, what do you think the dog is then?"
Yeah, so he's like the master of like efficiency. Like everything has to like. So the dog, because the dog is like, it's how they initially get connected.
Mm-hmm.
Because So it's Anna Sergeyevna comes to the new town, and the male protagonist is a guy called Gurov, or like Dmitrik.
Yeah, it's such a Russian. Dmitry Dmitrich Dimitrovich.
Yeah.
It's just the same name 3 times.
It's his patronic name, whatever. And he's a guy that he talks about his wife, who he doesn't like, but also like respects a lot. And
Yeah, he
basically,
respects
like,
her, which it just proves why he doesn't like her and still stays with her.
Yeah,
Because he respects her, even though he thinks she's like an unintelligent.
yeah, and so like so he's this guy that has like a history of having affairs. He's had like a few affairs, and then he sees this woman and thinks maybe he can have a relationship with her. And the first thing he sees is the dog, and so then the dog is like barking, and he like waves his hand to say like
the
stop.
dog to start the conversation with a woman.
Yeah,
Which usually is the other way around. That's why guys have dogs.
yeah,
And then they do end up, so basically they meet each other and they end up having an affair.
yeah. Actually, one other quick thing on the dog. So he goes up to her house that he's found out where she and her husband live, and it's like it's a big, like he describes the gate, and it's like no one could get out kind of gate. And then he sees the dog, which is like the warning sign that it's her house, and the dog's being walked out by like a servant. So I guess the idea being that like this woman who's initially with the dog, and the dog was like her, like an attempt to like freedom or like loneliness, like you said, and it's like some kind of companion. And then later on, the dog gets taken out of the gate, but she's still stuck in there. So therefore, like Gurov has to be the one that's
to replace the dog.
Yeah, that's how
it
I will
still shows
come in.
that she's lonely.
Yeah.
It still shows that she's lonely, and even the dog is not filling the void.
Yeah, and it's like I will be the one that takes you out of the gate.
I see. This I didn't realize that.
Well, I mean, it might not be true, but
oh, you made it up. Oh,
Yeah.
so this is wrong completely.
so you're an idiot.
You're completely wrong.
You're a stupid person.
I trust when other people come up with ideas.
Yeah.
Not my friends. My friends are wrong.
What literary journal did you find that in?
My friends cannot make original thoughts that are smart. No, if you present your own thought, just lie to me that it was somebody else and I'll believe it.
Yeah. It can be anyone. A guy on the street told me that, and it's like, oh, awesome.
Yeah, it's still better than, I hope you didn't come up with this. I hope it was a homeless guy who told you this. So basically I think this story is just about the relationships between women and men when it comes to one-night stands. I think it shows a lot of the psychology that goes behind it from the man's point of view and from the woman's point of view.
Yeah, but then it kind of shifts.
It does shift. It
Yeah.
does shift a lot. But in the beginning, it's so funny because they have sex for the first time and they both have partners.
Yeah.
And then they both cheat on their partners. And then the woman I think it just shows so well how differently men and women think, is that the woman was just there and she's like, oh my God, I'm a horrible slut.
Yeah.
And then the guy was just like, the sea is so beautiful. It's the most, I've never noticed how beautiful the waves are.
Yeah.
And then the woman is like, oh my God, I
she's
sinned.
She's crying. He's just looking out the window like, ooh, a seal. What is that?
And then that's what he I love how in this story there's a whole paragraph of that woman just being like, just pouring her heart out to him. She's like, I sinned. I hate myself. Do you respect me?
Yeah.
And then then it just jumps into his thoughts, and it's like, wow, she's boring. That's boring.
The like closing moment of like it's split into like 4 parts, and the closing moment of like the first part is like, but there's something pathetic in her.
Yeah.
And that's like his big.
And I was
like kind of revelation.
I was reading this, and my girlfriend was like, "Oh, is it good? Should I read it?" And I was like, "Oh no, it's horrible. Don't read it. Don't read it." It's literally I'm reading. I'm like, "Is this a peek into my mind?"
You're just looking at her like.
It's like, why would I? It's like it's almost as if I revealed my secrets and gave my girlfriend to read.
But then so that they kind of had this like week-long, or maybe like couple-week-long affair, and then her husband's meant to be coming out to join him or to join her at the town. But then she gets a letter from him saying like, "Oh, I'm feeling ill. Can you come back?"
Yeah, it was something. It said the letter said, "There's something wrong with my eyes," which is, if I ever send a letter like that, please just shoot me. There's something wrong with my eyes. It's the most. This is what was living like in 1899.
Yeah,
I cannot see. Something's wrong with your eyes. What's wrong? I don't know.
Just something's going on with these.
And now it's like I have astigmatism, and then before something's wrong. It's also like when she leaves, and I like the part where she goes away because she's saying, "Oh my God, I'm so glad this is coming to an end." And she says the fact that my husband, something's wrong with his eyes, is the touch of destiny. It's like imagine you're going blind, and it's just God's way of making your cheating wife come back home. Because that's what she meant by it.
Yeah. It's like, baby, I was going to keep on cheating on you, but then thank God you went blind. and I, the good person I am, rushed home.
I was expecting when I cheat, I wanted you to just look the other way.
So he goes back to Moscow and just feels like he can't, like nothing there is like the kind of same for me. Like he's angry at his wife, he's angry at his job. He doesn't have anyone to like talk to about it, his friends. So he goes to a town.
Which, going to someone's town and standing, waiting for them to leave outside the house was the old school version of fire emoji on a story.
Yeah, like before you travel thousands of miles and hope you run into them.
Well, if you
and
could
now you're just like, I'm going to like 3 of her stories in a row.
If you could only send a fire emoji after 4 days of traveling, I would still do that. If there was a button 4 days,
there's one place in the UK you could fire.
Fire emoji.
It's like in Middlesbrough. Everyone has to go to Middlesbrough to do a fire emoji.
And there is a line, and at the end of the line, it's just for that guy. It shows a story of a woman with a cleavage, and the guy just presses something and leaves.
It's all Indian man.
just bobs and vagina, and then walks away.
Exclusively. It's the guys who've travelled thousands and thousands of miles. So I was at uni once and I had a one night stand. Just because like a girl said she liked The Simpsons.
Just because of that?
Yeah, that's like all I.
This is this your standards?
Yeah, just anyone that likes The Simpsons.
But that's like 80% of women, and I think my grandma included. She used to watch The Simpsons with me. She didn't know
Simpsons,
she could.
Simpsons and syrup water.
She didn't know. She didn't know she could be. She could come from Will Hitt.
Just living in that small provincial town. She didn't know what she could have had. She didn't know what was waiting on the other side.
She needed Will Hitt
the
and the dog
Adriatic
to come
coast.
around. Well, why? What The Simpsons have to do with it?
I just really like The Simpsons.
So you just like knew that she likes The Simpsons a lot, and
no, we talked about it. So we were just like at a bar, and it came up, and that was just like an easy thing to talk about. Because I hate talking about almost everything, but for some reason, The Simpsons, I can just.
It also sounds like you were not even on a date. It sounds like you were just at the bar.
Oh no, we met at. It was a one night stand. Like we met at a bar.
So wait, were you talking to a bartender and you were like just discussing Simpsons with the bartender, and this woman, you just turned and this woman just staring at you. She's like season 11, episode 12. Is that where Lisa wins the chess championship? So what was you can't leave me hanging like this. I don't care about one night stand. What was how did you find each other?
I don't know. I think it was just like whatever happens at bars. Like we just kind of got to talking.
What doesn't happen at bars is that people don't connect over Simpsons accidentally.
Yeah.
So you got talking, and then Simpsons came up.
Yeah.
And you think that led to a one night stand?
Well,
I guess for you.
Well, just probably if that hadn't have come up, I would have got bored of the conversation and left.
Oh, I see. So I guess maybe for you that's why it happened. For her, it happened even though we talked about The Simpsons.
Even though we backed on about The Simpsons for 20 minutes.
He was like, he was almost not hot enough for that, but he was just hot enough
for a 20-minute Simpsons tangent.
And you were like, wow, I'm killing this. And she's like, I wish he should shut up. And we went to his place.
So I could went back to hers, and we were having sex, and she kind of like she whispered something. Eat your shorts. She whispered catchphrases into my ear just to keep me interested.
She whispered, "The Simpsons," and she came. She's
just like da 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 da.
Talk dirty to me. Mr. Skinner loves his mom.
And yeah, so she whispered something, and I didn't hear what she said. So I was like, "Oh, what?" And she was like, "Well, if you don't want to do it, just say." And then she got really angry, and kind of like threw me off.
Well, she whispered before sex, right?
No, this was during. She like whispered something.
Oh,
and I think she whispered like like a kink that she wanted, and I just didn't hear.
Oh.
And she thought I was just like, I was like playing it off as like, oh, what did he say? No, that's crazy.
So did you ever find out what she said?
No, she got angry and like stopped.
So you just stopped after that?
Yeah.
Did you try to bring it back with Simpsons? Hey, do you remember the great conversation we had?
I think at this point it was like 3 a.m. So I think we just both went to sleep.
Christy the Clown? Christy the Clown, you remember?
I'm just shoving it in her sleep.
Christy the Clown.
Christy the Clown. Come on.
Oh, I love the prank calls for the Mo. So you don't know what she said?
No.
And you're so socially retarded that you never decided. You didn't. It was so easy to clear it up. If I saw that in a sitcom, I would get angry because I was like, this would never happen in real life because no one's so socially stupid to just not be like, no, I misheard you. Tell me again. I'll do everything. I'll shit in your mouth. Just don't stop.
I just lie there for 3 hours and people are watching like, you gotta say something. This is such an easily resolvable situation.
Yeah, I would hate watching that. I would say that this is an unreal situation. And then you just slept together?
Well, I barely. Because this was like 3 minutes in.
You know, when I was like 19 maybe.
Yeah.
This is my embarrassing sex story. When I was like maybe 19 and I was with this girl in bed and it's just there was no other beds basically in that house, so I wasn't even planning to have sex, but like just we had to sleep in the same bed.
Yeah. And
I guess we were like both drunk enough, and then she just started making moves, and she started touching me, and I was like, I could tell. You know when you can tell that you're gonna come immediately? Do you know that? Like it's like, oh, I'm almost coming from her just touching me, and I'm 19, right?
Yeah.
I was like, this is gonna be so embarrassing.
Yeah.
So you know what I did? I went to the toilet, I jerked off, and I came back to the bed and slept.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Well, what was your line to get up?
I was like, I'm going to be back soon. And I was back, and I didn't lie, but I was a different man.
I had nothing to deliver.
I came back to the bed, and I was like, the sea is so beautiful. It's about little things.
It's like the opposite of like when a woman says, I'm just going to go and make myself more comfortable. She comes back in like a negligee. You just come back like
completely
just like tired with no energy.
Yeah, I came back a different man.
Yeah.
I came back a different man because you know when you come, it's like just the whole.
Yeah, you just come back like holding a book. Like, oof. You're just like reading The Old Man and the Sea. Like, oh, God. He's about to get this fish.
He's like, what happened in those 3 minutes? Did your mum die? Like, did you get some bad news?
So yeah, so he goes to find her. He goes to this, like musical theatre, opera production, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They
waits until the husband leaves and then just approaches her.
Yeah,
and then that's the moment where you don't know if she is happy with that. Like he's like, as a reader, you're like, is she still not over him? Or
because they kiss, and then he kind of like pushes her, or she like pushes him away.
Yeah,
and it's like, why did you come? Why did you come? I've been like trying to like forget you. Why are you here?
Yeah,
but he kind of kisses her again, and there are like these 2 boys that are like watching them.
Yeah, and then
like,
they just don't care.
Yeah,
they just like, it just shows how much passion I guess there is.
Yeah,
it's just because that the boys don't care. The boys are still jerking off over there. The spin-off series, the 2 boys that watched. Chekhov's another famous story. Two boys that watched The Woman and the Dog.
So you got to do more like this story. Got to keep on. We can get more out of this.
We can make this into a movie.
What about the boys?
It's just the shitty agents.
What about the boys?
Chekov writes the story, tries to pitch it. I like the boys. Well, you mean the 2 boys that were there just to like watch? Good characters. Good characters. There's
Where do the boys grow up?
Tell more about the boys. Yeah. Could they be like thieves? That had nothing to do with the boys.
Could they have powers?
Superhero boys.
What can the boys do?
19th century agent is so ahead of his time. He's like, superheroes, right? No one's ever done that before. It's superpowers. Bitten by a radioactive spider. What's radioactive? It's gonna come out in 50 years. This knowledge.
It is like 19th century Russian superpowers. He's just like Scythe boy. Like Trowel girl. She's just got like really big hands and she's plowing it like an incredible rate. And it's like Scythe boy just got like sharp legs and he's just like kicking things. It's like, oh my God.
Or like the wagon man. It's like he doesn't need the wagon to carry people. He just has a weird back with 2 chairs.
It's just the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
The wagon man.
Wagon wheel.
So fucking funny. The famine woman. She can starve but never dies. But she feels all the starving. She just always just experiences it hard but never dies. The starving woman.
So famine girl. She's just the only girl still alive in North Korea.
Can I please die?
Her catchphrase is, "Can I please die?"
And then there's like
she's living through
a crime happening. Get the famine girl. She comes out. Can I please die? And then doesn't do anything for the crime. The crime just happens. It's like, thank you so much, famine girl. I don't know what we would do without you.
You made everyone laugh again with your terrible predicament. She's just like a light comic touch to every.
She's like, can I please die? And everyone's like, oh, I feel so much better about that house burning.
It's like if every storyline she has is they need someone to watch an incredibly tasty cake. No one can eat this incredibly nice cake. There's a cake that needs to be delivered to the Tsar.
And they get her to do
it. Like, no one can. We need famine girl to protect the cake. She never eats.
She never eats because she doesn't die if she doesn't.
She gets no joy from eating. It's like rocks to her.
So horrible. It's like the only girl to survive Stalin.
It's like famine girl at Auschwitz.
Can I go to the showers? No.
No, you, famine girl. You stay here, famine girl.
Oh, you make me happy.
Her bat signal is just like a rib. Just like visible ribs just appear in this. Famine girl. No. She can't run.
No food.
She can't run. She's too weak.
Yeah, she's like, the famine girl will be here in 4 days. But she lives just a mile away. Yeah, she's crawling.
She's got like those turned feet you get when you get like...
Oh my god, this man.
When you get like rickets. She got rickets and scurvy.
Okay, let's leave the famine girl.
We need to do podcast merch with Famine Girl.
Yeah, we should.
Hoodies with Famine Girl.
New name for the podcast. The Russian superheroes is a very it's a very funny. The old school Russian superheroes is a very funny. It could be like a sketch or something.
Coal Boy.
The Coal Boy. There's barely. There's the scythe. It starts with a scythe, but they just get worse.
More and more depressing.
Just more and more depressing. Oh my god.
So the kind of end of the story is so they decide that they just keep on having the affair. She occasionally comes to Moscow, like every couple of weeks or every month, telling her husband. It's a weird, like, she tells her husband she's going to a doctor for woman problems. That's like the great excuse. She's going for like women diagnostic problems.
It's interesting how that's the only medical term from that short story that I still hear being used. It's been 100 years and periods for men are just women problems.
The only thing we've retained.
And then she comes back to him and he cheats on his wife. They continue cheating. And then the point is that they know that they will never leave their husbands and wives. It's not just about love, this story.
Yeah.
The love here is not... It's not a love story in any way. This is a story about deception, immorality, like loyalty. Yeah. Love is just a tool. Well, a lesser writer, I think, would make it about love. It's like love saves. Yeah. No, love here is almost a horrible thing that actually fell upon them like misfortune.
Yeah, because that's great, because it's like I was reading like Nabokov on this, and he was saying that like all these elements, so like the boys, like a lesser writer, the boys would have.
Nabokov was like, I do like the boys.
Can we make them young girls?
Where's the famine girl?
What if they were hot young girls? How would that be different?
And how about they kiss? They kiss as they watch. They kiss. They try to duplicate what they see.
Nabokov's fix for every story is let's make them girls. Let's make them young girls.
Let's make them kiss each other's lips.
And he was just saying like in a lesser writer, like those boys, they would be like a big part of the story. They would go and like spread gossip, and like it would ruin the relationship. Or there's like when the guy comes to the town of S and he's looking at things like ink stains on like a desk. That would be something about that would become like a reference to again like kind of gossip or like newspaper and stuff.
But using the.
But he's saying that they're all just like small. They're all just like human occurrences. So again, like you were saying, a lesser writer would make love is the huge thing, but it's just like love. It's just an occurrence. Because I think like Nabokov said, it was like it's a weird story. Because like it's set up immediately. Nothing really happens. And yeah, it's one of like the greatest stories. Okay, yeah, so to wrap it up, let's our new final segment where we look at 1-star good read reviews.
Because 1 star is much better than like 3 stars. Because 3 stars is someone who just genuinely finds fault with it.
Yeah.
But 1 star is just someone who hates it for some reason.
Yeah.
And hate is good because it means that the story worked. So I love this. Chara says this. Maybe I was the only one that thought it was about a lady and a dog. Well, it wasn't about a lady and a dog. It was about adultery.
A Christian woman that's so annoyed it wasn't about a dog.
Married older guy sees married younger woman, married younger lady with a dog, and then caps lock, that I expected to read about. And then they feel constantly guilty because of the affair, contrary to the men who took advantage of her loneliness. And that's it. So this woman basically just really loves dogs.
Yeah.
And she got fooled.
It's great to imagine her reading it and just getting angry and angrier as the story goes on.
Yeah, it's like, but she loves Harry Potter.
So when's the dog gonna come in?
She loves Harry Potter because she's like, the whole time it was about Harry. This is a good name. I didn't get fooled. Silence of the Lambs. She reads this. What the fuck? No lambs.
Yeah, the old man in the sea. Every page. Old man, sea. Another banger. Another great page.
Really great title.
Animal Farm. Yes. This is a farm. There are animals.
1984. Amazing.
Yeah.
Always in 1984.
Every page was that year.
And there's more. There's more from other people.
Yeah.
No real substance in the short story.
Yeah.
Which is just the maddest opening sentence.
Yeah.
2 married people meet, start an affair. Big deal. I guess for the time period it was shocking, but in this day and age, not so much. She's like just clearly someone who's cheating. He's like, "Well, you guys don't cheat." As others,
what's wrong with this? This is normal.
Yeah, and then as others have said, the writing was good. And that's my reason for the 2nd star, because it's a 2 stars. Is this someone who read it? And it's like, it's insane when people complain about like, it was about an affair. What do you need, lightsabers?
No one died the whole time.
It was about the most universal thing that ever happened to humanity. Yeah, I needed starships.
Okay, so that's Chekhov's The Lady with the Dog. We'll leave it in a description. You should read it.
Yes, August 20th, my show. Thank you.
Nice.